I know it's only been like a day since they confirmed Sonic 2 is happening, but there's a man with a red hat wanting to take your crown, King. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on another episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. Let's dive into the great movie news we got to discuss today. We're going to be jumping on a small update, more of a competition setting, posing a question to you guys on the Super Mario movie that is coming up in 2022. The horror Universal Monster Universe growing stronger with an Invisible Man franchise, and the new Wolfman movie Finding its Wolfman. That is so much more, guys, so be sure you're leaving your opinions down below on what you think of everything we discussed, specifically on the topic of Super Mario, because I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about that. And don't be forgetting to hit that like button if you're feeling generous today. It really helps out with these videos and shows me you want to see more of them. Jumping straight into the horror movie news before we get talking about little cute and cuddly Mario and Sonic going at it. Over the past few days, we had the director and producer who brought us the Invisible Man movie that came out this year, and look, with the way the whole pandemic is happening, the Invisible Man is in my top 3 favorite of 2020, just because we've had so few movies come out. And it's also worth pointing out, thanks to this Invisible Man movie that managed to make over $100 million at the box office on just a budget of $10 million, Universal and Blumhouse are pushing forward their Universal Monster line and getting the ball rolling on bringing more modern versions of these characters. But more specifically right now on the Invisible Man, in this interview with comicbookmovie.com, the creative team behind the Invisible Man basically says that they want to plan a whole trilogy behind this. Jason Blum saying specifically on the future of that franchise going on. So on the second movie, I think we make a second or a third. I asked the filmmakers to think a little bit more about the universe of the movie. Basically what it boils down to is that the head of Blumhouse is going after Leigh Whannell, who wrote and directed that first Invisible Man movie, to like, look, if you have it in your mind for a second and a third Invisible Man movie, we're game to make it. I would be so down for an Invisible Man trilogy with the way they set up that character in that universe. It's just, if you've seen the end of the movie, there's really no idea of where this might go. It kind of ends on a clean note, so at the same time, I wouldn't mind if they just left it at one film and started focusing more on these other Universal Monster movies that are getting films. But speaking on Leigh Whannell, he did this sort of action horror thriller that not a lot of people have seen named Upgrade. If you have not seen this film, I highly recommend it. The basic premise is that it's set in this future where a lot of people get implants like guns into their hands or legs that are weapons, a really crazy teched out universe, and a man is after revenge after his wife wrongfully taken down. And for those of you who have seen Upgrade, you know this movie is fantastic, really well done, and we're all begging for a sequel. Well, the call was answered, but not in the way you're hoping for. They did confirm that Leigh Whannell is going to be working on an Upgrade sequel TV series. It won't necessarily focus on the characters of the first movie because that kind of closed well with the way they ended that movie. Instead, it'll deal with someone else who gets this AI technology implanted into them that basically makes them this ultimate fighter. What do you guys think about the Invisible Man getting a trilogy? How could you see the story go? And even though it's not a movie, would you be willing to watch the Upgrade TV series? But jumping into the breaking news that we got yesterday about the next Universal Monster movie that Blumhouse is going to be working on, and that is their reboot or modernization of the character, the Wolfman. Arguably, this is probably one of the most famous Universal monsters just because he's gotten so many different interpretations, but at the same time, out of those many interpretations, only a couple few turn out to be real good movies. Well, like I said, thanks to the Invisible Man succeeding and proving that there's interest that if you make these Universal Monster movies into horror movies like they're meant to, people will actually show up. Well, Variety confirmed that it's in the works, and not only that, they are casting Ryan Gosling to be our Wolfman. And now instantly, I'm hooked on this project. I'm sold. I don't care what it's about. A modern Wolfman story with Ryan Gosling? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But I was worried there'd be people out there who would just hate this casting choice, think Ryan Gosling is not right for the part. So I did ask you guys who follow me on Twitter to let me know your opinion so that I could talk about this today on SideFlick. I love how Togue at VLR already gave me a nice little rendition of what he'll look like. Woof. Yep, perfect Wolfman right there, man. But most of the people here are really praising it. I have here Coachmaster saying Universal is going the right way. R. Tristan saying gonna be worth a watch. Chris, most definitely, sir. James M. Coswell III says Ryan Gosling is going to doggy style this movie, and that's a good thing. Oh, the audience I have. But to me, even that casting choice aside, reading further in the details of what they're going for with this modern Wolfman movie gets me thinking that they have a good story in mind. The story right now that they have, which is very little, but it gives us enough to get an idea of what this will be. Sources say that Ryan Gosling will be playing an anchorman, sort of a newscaster on like a CNN or your local news station who tells you the news. And of course, with all traditional Wolfman movies, he either gets bit by a werewolf or has the werewolf bug, and they're saying the vibe for this movie is gonna be similar to Nightcrawler starring Jake Gyllenhaal, which if you have not seen Nightcrawler, that is a great dark movie about a guy who works for a news station. I love these weird directions that they're going with for these Wolfman movies because they're out of left field. They're not what you expect. Like, who would have thought the Wolfman movie would star Ryan Gosling and he would be a newsman who gets bit by a wolf? Who knows how that'll work out, but you already have me intrigued. Is the guy going to turn into a wolf on camera? And how's that going to look? We know the Frankenstein movie is about a person who lives next door to someone who's creating a monster in their basement that gets loose. Okay, awesome. The Dracula movie that is in the works is also going to be a modern telling for Dracula. No idea what the story is there, but just the fact that these characters are coming into the modern setting and keeping them horror-centric. This is the way to go, Universal. No offense to Tom Cruise, but I didn't want to see these guys be action heroes or Marvel Avengers. Now, even though I am calling this the Universal Monster Universe, I don't want Ryan Gosling's Wolfman to then meet the Invisible Man, or then to meet their Frankenstein or their Dracula. I'd rather this be the type of universe where there's just Easter eggs in the background about these characters, that they all exist within this world, but we're not going to have them cross over and become a huge team and try to fight some other thing. Something like with this, Ryan Gosling being a news anchor, the movie could start off with a local billionaire dies, and that would be a reference to the guy in The Invisible Man. That's what I think the best way to connect this universe is not try to have them all Nick Fury and meet up. How do you feel about Ryan Gosling being cast as the Wolfman, and do you like the story details so far? Alright, jumping into the animated Super Mario movie that is being done by Illumination Studios, we gotta talk about the fact that in 2022, we're gonna be getting a Mario movie and a pinche Sonic movie, guys. Now, that's not absolutely confirmed yet, but the Super Mario movie is set to come out in 2022. And even though with this whole pandemic situation, animated movies remain unaffected by them because a lot of the animators can work from home, voice acting can be done from home. So they've already confirmed that the Super Mario movie is on track and will still be releasing in 2022. Pair that up with the awesome news we just got a couple days ago that Sonic the Hedgehog is gonna be getting a sequel for sure. They confirmed it, and if you know how movies work, okay, they'll spend the rest of 2020 figuring out the story, writing the scripts, getting the cast. In 2021, they'll actually shoot the movie, and then by 2022, they'll go ahead and release Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I just can't believe we're gonna have a year where we have a Mario movie and a Sonic movie releasing at the same time. And with that information now in our heads, I wanted to pose the question to you guys that Sonic right now has the crown for biggest domestic box office for a video game movie, and that's with his film being cut short at the theater because of the pandemic, and he still hasn't even released in China, which I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who will watch that movie and make a lot of money there. But even with all that said, it's no doubt, if you're a video game fan, you know Mario and Sonic have been rivals for the longest time, fighting each other both on screen and off the screen. And even if Sonic is your favorite character, there's no denying Mario is just a bigger property, has more fans, and that's not a jab on Sonic at all. So the question for the Super Mario movie that is being made, do you think that movie will take the record away from Sonic and become the highest grossing video game movie of the world? Not just domestically, because this whole time I've been saying Sonic the Hedgehog the movie is king of the world as a video game film. When I find out all these articles have been bamboozling me and Sonic is only the king domestically, that's box office in the US. Worldwide, the highest grossing video game movie is actually World of Warcraft that came out in 2016, right under Detective Pikachu. So Altogether, Detective Pikachu made more money than the Sonic film? ¿Dónde está Detective Pikachu 2, guys? Like, seriously, why can't we get a sequel to that? It's been years. I think Super Mario is gonna become #1 in the world, and heck, will be the first video game movie to hit that $1 billion mark. Unless the studio that makes Minions really screws the pooch on this, which I don't think they will. The Super Mario movie is gonna make bank, but now that there's a lot of fans for this Sonic movie, will Sonic Movie 2 be able to match that level of what Super Mario brings to the table? I want to say maybe, but then again, I'm like, it's Mario. Can Sonic really do it? But if you give me a trailer with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, I'm like, that might be a $2 billion film right there, y'all. So I want to know from you guys down below, in 2022, when both these movies come out, who do you think will be the king of the record? The Mario movie or the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog? But that is just some of the movie news we currently having going on right now, guys. I do want your opinions down below. I'm going to be working on another video concerning the Sonic the Hedgehog sequel, so look out for that this weekend. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.